Okay, so one way to get ideas into your notebook that requires very little thinking is to collect conversations. I actually did this in a college class that I took. My English comp teacher told us that that was our assignment. So when I was at a meeting at work, I worked at Pizza Hut on 72nd Street in Parkville. Yum! I wrote down almost everything everyone said during the meeting. Then I took those conversations and turned them into a vignette. We'll talk about that genre later on in the year. So I'm going to show you an example of how I did this in my writer's notebook over the summer. I went with my mom and my dad and my daughters and a few nieces and nephews to see San Andreas. Quite an earth-shattering, shaking movie. Ha ha ha. During the movie, I wrote down things my family was saying around me and things from the movie. It was pretty fun. I filled 3 pages and then just finally had to stop. I took notes during the movie, before the movie, you name it. I'm going to show you a section of my writer's notebook. I want you to notice that it's dated. That's important. It started out in the order the events happened, and then I just started jumping all over the place trying to make connections. I also went from doing the conversations to thinking about ideas about how I could use it in my writing, and that all takes place. So let's look at some of the things that I wrote down. Okay, notice the date, yes. And then I label it Conversations. If you can probably see that. Sorry, I didn't know it was Prime. That's because I didn't know it was a Prime movie and we paid extra, but the seats were fantastic. She took the cup. Get whatever you want. I must have been telling my nieces something about that. Zoe has to be back home by 1. I don't know. I live by the moment. She's fine. No, I'm fine. So you can see these are conversations I'm having with my family. If you look over here, you start to see things that happen in the movie. So read a few of those. Oh my goodness, that's scary. That's Maite was talking about that. So they're reacting to the movie now. We're less about having conversations on those parts. And then not going to go to that kind of movie. No. Then we started to get into the movie. How the heck did she survive that? There was a reporter in the movie taking notes in a notebook. I thought you should know that. Should I do an earthquake report? Because I was hearing facts during the movie that an earthquake moved Japan 8 feet. There was 9.5 in South Chile. It's been 100 years overdue on the San Andreas Fault. So you can see there are all kinds of things in here that I'm learning. There was one thing in there about the triangle life. I even illustrated it to show why the triangle is so important in survival. So, bunches of conversations. Notice I put some stars here, and then I put some other writing sideways. Those were usually times that I came in afterwards. Things that I thought were important, things that I wanted to make note of. 3 pages. Easy. I didn't have to come up with it on my own. I was taking what other people were doing. So this is a great thing to do in your writer's notebook. Collect conversations. What are you waiting for? Start collecting some conversations.